guys, welcome to my channel. Today I will be campaigning on sexual behavior, and I am using a YouTube video to do this. Due to COVID-19, we don't want to go out and interact with persons, so let me enlighten you on sexual behavior today. Encourage you at the end of this video, you guys will understand sexual behavior. You guys would know the effects of sexual behavior, and the rest will be discussed throughout the presentation. I will be using my laptop as a guide, so if you see my eyes going down, I'm using my laptop as a guide, right? So today's objective is to address the multiple sexual psychosocial risk and protective factors affecting sexual risk behaviors, such as being knowledgeable about it, perceived sex, the values, attitudes, perceived norms, and self-efficacy of sexual behavior. The second objective is to educate adolescents on the effects of engaging in sexual behavior at an early age. And last but not least is to effectively address the influence of peer groups and pressure to have sex, right? So many adolescents engage in sexual activity that may directly or indirectly affect their oral health. These adolescent sexual behavior include a range of activities from kissing and fondling to oral and anal vaginal sex. Many factors play a role in an adolescent's movement toward a first sexual experience, including biological sexual maturation, parents and peer values associated with sexual behaviors, environmental opportunities for engaging in sexual intimacies. The adolescent sense of self, including sexual identity and self-esteem and capacity for cognitive reasoning, also contribute to decisions about sexual behavior. So what I just outlined was the factors of sexual behaviors, right? So adolescent sexual activities are on the rise and rapidly emerging as a public health concern. So this is something that we as practitioners are concerned about, because as we know, the rise of risky sexual behavior will actually increase the rate of STDs, STIs, and pregnancy of our adolescents in Jamaica. Just briefly explaining our objectives for today. So, addressing the sexual psychosocial risk of sexual risk behaviors is basically the early maturation in both boys and girls has been associated with engagement in high-risk behaviors such as precocious sexual activity. So many persons may wonder, why is my child behaving in this manner? Why is my child actually exhibiting these forms of behavior? And these forms of behaviors are all age appropriate in some sense. So once parents, teachers, caretakers, practitioners are educated about this, this will help them to actually know when the child is at their developmental stage and what to expect from the child. So sexual behavior may be influenced by many psychological factors, in addition to the cultural and social pressures which can change rapidly from one generation to the next. Understanding the psychological influences and drive adolescent sexual activity, such as hormonal. So at certain age, the onset of adolescence, that is when children starts to mature, and once they start to mature, there are certain changes that they undergo that will affect their overall approach to certain things. So the chemical and the neurological reactions and changes can help us to actually intervene and support our adolescents in making appropriate choices regarding their sexual behavior. So this is say once practitioners understand. Our second objective is to educate adolescents on the effects of engaging in sexual behavior at an early age, at an early onset age, right? So once adolescents or children engage in this type of behavior at an early age without understanding the effects of this risky behavior will lead to pregnancy, STIs, and STDs as stated before. So over the past years, there has been an increase in teenage pregnancy. Can you believe? I'm saying we're getting more, there's more technology now, and there is increased amount of technology in, so adolescents and children actually have access to technology, and everything is out there, so they're really exposed to these type of behaviors, and they may want to experiment at this age without fully understanding that once they engage in these behavior, this may happen. So because some of these adolescents engage in sexual behavior and they are not educated on the effects of these behaviors, adolescents tend to have unprotected sex with older men of their age, not being fully educated on how it may affect them. Yes, that is indeed true, and we have found research on this that proves that because girls tend to mature faster than males, so they tend to be more attracted to older men, or I would say older men tend to be attracted to them because their body is basically mature. Men of their age as well, not being fully educated on how it may affect them. So adolescents do engage in sexual behavior with men or adolescents their own age, while they are not fully educated on this, and they might just go out there, have unprotected sex without understanding and being educated on the effects of sex, of engaging in risky sexual behavior. Sexual transmitted disease has been on the rise in Jamaica, whereas adolescents and young adults are leading this, may also be because these individuals are not fully educated. Our third objective is to effectively address the influence of peer groups. Adolescents need to know the friends or company they should associate themselves with. Also know when they are being pressured negatively and not to be pressured into behaviors that may affect them negatively. So parents, guardians, caretakers, whoever it may be out there, you guys have to sit down, properly educate your children on the type of friends that they surround themselves with, because peer pressure is very significant. This can actually be a life-threatening situation. Also, adolescents need to know if your peers are pressuring you in engaging in risky sexual behaviors. There are always guidance counselors at your school. Parents supposed to build a strong relationship with their child, hence they can feel comfortable to come to them, go to the parent and express how they are feeling and what's happening with them, right? We also have practitioners. Even we can implement methods of peers who are actually, on the right path. They're knowledgeable about these things. Engage them and help these children that aren't so knowledgeable about this to actually educate this, because peers tend to listen to peers more. So once I know that Mary is doing this and she's trying to help me out in this situation, I am going to listen to Mary, right? So we can implement peers in our schools that is actually educated and is on the right path to help and educate our children or adolescents on the effects of engaging in sexual behavior. Parents can actually prevent sexual behavior, and I'm going to list 3 ways in which they can actually prevent this. So parents need to develop a open home environment where adolescents feel safe approaching parents with concerns and questions. And as I stated before, adolescents want to know that they can express themselves openly to their parents without feeling that their life is being threatened, without feeling that they won't listen to them, or they might be disrespecting them in a way, you understand, because we tend to fear what our parents reaction will be. So actually developing an open home environment to know that my child can actually come to me and speak to me about anything is very important. Be adolescents' primary source of sex education. Put aside fears about talking about sexuality aside, pick up a sexuality book and learn how to present the information to a child in age appropriate manner. And as I stated before, parents is a primary source of socialization. So once parents are educated on this matter, they will now help to relay the information to the child in an age appropriate manner, because they actually understand how to relay the information. The third prevention that I have stated is to monitor in a positive and considerate manner the movies children watch, video games they play, activities they are involved in with peers, jokes that they tell that suggest insensitivity to sexuality or people. Parents can actually seek help. It is important that parents seek out professional guidance to access and make recommendations about what has occurred and what can be done. So sometimes parents are bombarded with a lot of things that their children bring to the table, and this is indeed sometimes we tend to react in an angry manner, right? So actually expressing ourselves, actually getting professional help is very important, and knowing that there are places that they can actually go. As I stated before, there's guidance counselor in the schools. You have a lot of counselors, you have psychologists, you have family therapists, you have social workers, you have a lot of people that you can, and organization that you can actually reach out to. Adolescents, risky sexual behavior can lead to HIV, STDs, and teen pregnancy. Do we want that? I don't think so. Abstaining is very important. Abstinence from vaginal, anal, and oral intercourse is the only 100% effective way to prevent HIV, other STDs, or pregnancy. The correct and consistent use of male latex condoms can reduce the risk of STD transmission and pregnancy. However, no protective method is 100% effective, and condom use cannot guarantee absolute protection against any STD or pregnancy. So the best thing to do is abstain. Abstinence makes sense. I have garnered some points to basically reduce or prevent teen pregnancy in schools. The first one is to provide health information that is basic, accurate, and directly contributes to help promoting decisions and behaviors. Address the need of youth who are not having sex, as well as youth who are currently sexually active. The third one is to ensure that all youth are provided with effective education and skills to protect themselves and others from HIV infection, other STDs, and pregnancy. We're almost wrapping up now. So I have 4 recommendations listed below. The first recommendation is parents and guardians should be educated to overcome the cultural barriers that discourage giving adolescents early sex education at home. The second one is religious or faith-based organizations should use their positions as a leverage to encourage adolescents to abstain and from premarital sex. So churches can actually, the church does do it, but is it effective? I don't think so. Have church goers that are adolescents that do end up get pregnant. So what churches or religious organization can do is actually create a program. The program will entail educating specifically parents who might be having difficulties with their child due to risky sexual behavior, educating children not to engage in risky sexual behavior. The third recommendation is advocacy and community mobilization to increase awareness towards the need for inclusion of sex education in school curriculum. Last but not least is the effective of health education programs targeted at adolescents to improve knowledge of sexual issues, promote abstinence, and motivate behaviors and reduce sexual risk. This is the end of my video. I hope that you guys learn, and I hope this is very informative. I hope that it will help to reduce the risky sexual behavior in our adolescents. We don't want to see adolescents being pregnant, having STDs, and which will affect them later on in life. We want to have more educated adolescents that is striving for success. The best way to prevent these effects of sexual behavior is simply abstaining. Once you are knowledgeable and educating and is of age of engaging in these behaviors, then you can educate yourself as to how you can actually make this a safe journey. Thank you so much.